1055, Thea, James Fortune and Company, and You Are Too Close, Never Let Go, Hold On. That's what you do to keep your praise on and keep your faith and your strength. Bona King with you, blessings with Bona until 2 o'clock this afternoon, 12:43. You know, we never know who'll stop by Blessings with Bona, and today we got a monumental surprise for you.
And yes, I did, a book called Dream So Big, Helping Your Child Believe and Achieve.
Because that's important right now, especially in light of a lot of the things that are going on. We talk about the students in Chicago having to be escorted to school and things like that. And tell us a little bit how you came to put that book together.
Well, you know, my daughter at 3 years old, when we're living in Atlanta, we're from Georgia, said, "Daddy, I want to be on the Cosby Show."
No, she said that, didn't
she? She said that, absolutely, at that age. And at that time, the Cosby Show was at its zenith. And to keep a long story short, and that's all in my book and what I talk about tonight, is that we took a chance and went to New York and gave ourselves 12 months to see if we could meet Bill Cosby, because we never could have done this in Atlanta. And 11 and a half months later on that journey, we met Bill Cosby going out for a movie called Ghost Dad. And then they said, Sidney Poitier was the director. And then they said, well, you can't have this part. We think you're too young, but would you like to meet Mr. Cosby and all the show? We were like, oh my God, well, absolutely. She met him that next day, and the rest is history. So a lot of people, like, Raven had a wonderful and spectacular career, and a lot of people would come and say, how did it happen? How did it happen? And when you're caught up in the hustle of everything, you don't really know. I didn't have really good answers. And I wanted to be able to, after the career and I retired, to give people a true understanding of what happened during my journey. I think that's important. And at my age, you know, it comes to a point where you want to be able to give. And so I traveled the world and studied great people that did great things, whether it's from Alexander the Great to Napoleon, you know what I'm saying? Going to Greece and France and so forth, and just I'm a big history buff. And I noticed that people that had great success had these certain principles, and I realized that so did I.
Two of those principles could be?
Oh, it's about visualization. If you have a dream, it's important that that dream is so crystal clear in your mind, because we are creatures, we are dreaming creatures, and you're amazed at what's in your mind can come out into the real world. Everything that you see physical in this world has come from a dream. And it's important for people, especially our young people, don't get depressed that you can't or think you can't do anything or your dream can come true. This is something that you do. This is who you are. And I give you the principles and the methods of doing it.
In that book, and of course, with God, all things are possible.
Well, God created everything. So, I mean, that for me, that's a given.
That's the given.
Now, let me say this. Let me say this. Because a lot of people will have a tendency to say, well, this guy, to me, that's a given. Always is, always will be. This is, you know. But he gave you powers. He gave you powers. And it's important for you to know how to activate them. So so my thing is, if a person over there is hungry, you can't stand over here and say, God, feed her. That doesn't make any sense to me. You got to walk over there and give them something. Absolutely. So that's all I'm saying.
So what's your next project? You got that book and you're making this tour, because you've been all around town today.
Yeah, all around town, Yeah, right.
But you know Georgia because you're from Georgia and all.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, coming down to Albany, my grandmother and grandfather, see all on my mother's side and father's side. So to me, this is like home. I just remember growing up, coming down here. You know what I miss? My biggest thing was coming down here and used to get the sugar cane. They don't have that anymore.
Well, that's a health
It's
thing.
hard to find. No, but I'm just saying, though. That's my childhood memory.
Well, when we get off mic, I'll tell you some places to go. But I'll tell you some places to go. But it's always great for you never know who's going to stop by Blessings with Bona. Now, how's Raven?
Raven is fine. Man. Raven's traveling the world doing her thing. She's like about 30 years old.
Well, yeah, we know that's hard to believe, but
she used to just rest on my arm. But she's a grown woman, has her home and has her life, and I think it's beautiful, because I remember when she was born and being young parents at the time, it was like, oh my God, college, what's she gonna do? And I just felt at that time that she was gonna be a star, and I named her for that reason. I said, we give her two names to be one. One day she's gonna be a star. And then for that to have happened also cements the fact that what you think about will come about in your life all the time.
So when you say that, and you said that now she's older, I know what you mean. And I used to wonder how it would be when my daughter would talk, and now she's talking
right.
kind of like her mother.
or read. It's amazing. And then they go from there to like, Daddy, I have all this mortgage and I got this and that, and you have a tendency to sit back and say, oh my God, life. This is a beautiful thing, this thing called life that God has given us to experience briefly, but still it's so important. And I just think that young people need to understand, with your short and brief life, you know, find your joy and find joy for others. And I think that's what's the most important thing.
So you writing any more books? How many more books you got?
I'm going to write another book. I'm currently working on that. I don't tell you what it is yet,
okay.
so we don't put the heezy-weezy on it. But no, but I do my tour around colleges. I actually speak at colleges around the country to the young people, and important of how to make their dreams come true. And it's not always just if I study hard, which is good, or if I do this, I do that. What's important is how you feel inside, how you see yourself and visualize yourself to the next step. That's important. Our ancients knew that a long time. Why would they think 3,000 years ago, what a man believeth, so shall he be? It was thousands of years ago, because they understood that what you think about will come about in your life all the time.
Okay. Christopher Pierman, thank you for stopping by. I know you're
Thank
in a rush
you for
there.
having me.
Thank you for squeezing in. We really appreciate that. You're going to be the guest speaker tonight at the NAACP annual banquet. And of course, if you have any questions about that, all you have to do is call 229-432-7941. They can get those answers for you. Bonna King, Blessings with Bonna. Christopher Pierman, thank you for stopping by.
Yes, what a wonderful title.
Well,
You're such
you.
a wonderful host. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. 10 minutes before 1 o'clock on Albany's Gospel Leader, Praise 105.5.